years it was hiring and threshing crews. They'd come around and they'd be working from farmer to farmer, and you knew they were down the road 3 or 4 miles, and yeah, okay, that's our crew that's coming next. So they'd move in, and it would last for whatever, 2, 3, 4 days. Um, Teams of horses, wagons kicking around. As a kid, 8, 9 years old, probably younger than that, that was my favorite time because they were bologna sandwiches. Rather than always having the rhubarb and strawberry jam or whatever, you know, the home preserves is, mom and dad or mom would buy this big tube of bologna, so it was bologna sandwiches. As a child, that was so important. I mean, my sisters are really older than dirt. And I, of course, am the youngest. So I only grew up really with one sister at home. The rest, it was a phase period. And as soon as they turned 14, 15, 16, whatever it was, they went off to work or got married or whatever. So responsibility is different. Probably not responsibilities. I think expectations were a little bit different because I was the son, heir apparent that was going to stay on. But no, grew up with one sister around underfoot, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So probably the expectations of mom and dad were a little bit different. Whether I fulfilled those expectations or came close to it, I don't know. One thing that I remember I've never forgiven her for, and I'll probably go to my grave and won't, was I can remember it was the four of us, mom and dad, Sally and I, are sitting around the supper table, and we had roast goose. Now, I can eat pork fat, beef fat, yeah, but goose fat just turns my stomach. And I guess, from what I can recall eating, and there's my side of fat that was left there. I remember Mom making some comment about, why don't you eat that? It's good for you. No way. And Sally was sitting, yay. And I can just remember, quick as a fly, she scooped this goose fat up and tried to ram it down my throat. I bolted out of the house. Of course, this was at night. Running around the house. She was following me for a ways. I don't know for how long. I finally ended up hiding under the tractor. And pitch dark. And I was just sitting there, petrified. The thought of it was just yuck, revolting. I don't know how long I sat there. I remember finally getting out, going to the house, of course, with the lights on inside, peeking through the windows, seeing where in the hell she was. Of course, by that time she'd forgotten about it. But I swore then that in a couple, 3 years, when I physically could do it, I would get even. Mother, in her little younger years, was very hot off the handle, very temperamental person. By the time, or maybe it probably was my calming influence, that she settled down quite a bit and it was a lot easier to live with. But she could lose it awfully fast. She'd blow, and just as quickly it would pass over. A temperamental person. But we got along very well, not by design, but just by the way things were. I was closer to Mum than to Dad. Whether that's a natural mother-son, father-son breakdown, I don't know. But that's the way it was for me. I always found it easier to confide in her on a personal level than to Dad. Dad had a memory like an elephant. You step on his toe, and you remember the pain forever and a day. One regret, and that is that we've waited this long. And I'm sure that's universal feeling among the families. The parents should have been a part of it. But that didn't happen. So it's good that all the siblings are still together. But it's wonderful. It brings out along with a lot of memories. Having the location here is great. This is where we hung out. So good choice. Good choice.